Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the fire.
The WNBA is experiencing a phenomenon unlike anything in its history. Arenas are sold out, television ratings are shattering records, and a new generation of fans is tuning in, all drawn by the gravitational pull of one player, Caitlin Clark. But beneath the shiny surface of this unprecedented boom, a dark and disturbing narrative is taking shape on the court, night after night. While the league celebrates its newfound success, a terrifying question is emerging from the hardwood itself. Is the WNBA, whether by incompetence or by design, actively allowing its biggest star to be systematically dismantled and abused right in front of millions of viewers? The evidence is piling up, and the most damning testimony isn't coming from angry fans on social media, but from the league's own trusted voices in the broadcast booth.
And finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it. I mean, this is what Caitlin Clark is.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to... Shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo calling it like.
What began as a murmur of frustration has erupted into a full-blown expose, led by two of the most respected figures in basketball media, play-by-play announcer Ryan Ruocco and Hall of Fame analyst Rebecca Lobo. During a nationally televised game between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings, they did something commentators are rarely supposed to do. They stopped just calling the plays and started calling out the officials. The pretense of detached neutrality crumbled under the weight of sheer, undeniable negligence. Lobo, a player whose legendary career was built on intelligence and composure, began pointing out blatant holds, off-ball grabs, and illegal contact against Clark with the calm, cutting precision of a prosecutor laying out an open and shut case. Her tone wasn't one of anger, but of sheer disbelief, as if she couldn't fathom how professionals could miss what was so obvious. It was the moment the quiet part was finally screamed out loud. When a legend like Rebecca Lobo, who knows the game inside and out, feels compelled to highlight the egregious nature of the officiating, you know the problem is no longer a matter of opinion. The broadcast booth had suddenly become a courtroom, and the referees, along with the league they represent, were on trial.
The new man, Ryan Ruocco, Mr. You Bet himself, and Rebecca Lobo ended up bringing up how players have been getting away with fouling Caitlin Clark live on television. Right here, they're talking about this right here, where JJ was holding the arm, okay? Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit here.
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's fouls.
This isn't about a few missed calls or the typical physicality of professional basketball. For Caitlin Clark, every game has become a grueling 94-foot gauntlet of sanctioned abuse. From the second she steps on the floor, long before she even touches the ball, she is subjected to a level of contact that blatantly violates the rules of the game. This isn't just about a defender staying in front of her, it's about a constant grinding war of attrition. You can see defenders grabbing a fistful of her jersey to slow her down as she runs off a screen. You can see them putting a hand on her waist to illegally steer her away from her spot. She's being hip checked on fast breaks and bodied by multiple players at once before she even crosses the half-court line. These aren't basketball plays. They are deliberate, illegal tactics designed to disrupt, fatigue, and punish her. And for some inexplicable reason, the referees have collectively decided to look the other way. It's like watching an obstacle course where her opponents are allowed to move the obstacles directly into her path, and the officials are there just to admire the scenery.
You think the old guard, you think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay. You guys watch this. Quinterly grab Caitlin Clark's arm. Like, Caitlin, where you going? Get over here. Oh, that's interesting. Why play defense when we can just grab somebody's arm, right? Interesting. Quinterly putting her hand around Caitlin Clark's waist. Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Sorry.
It's a foul as she gets body checked. That's a foul. That's a foul. I mean, it's not only until right now when she's finally whacked on the arm. I'm so happy that the broadcast team finally called it out directly. And it's so insane. And I talked about this in my video where I broke down the whole game. I mean, Enrique clearly fouls her, whacks her. Caitlin Clark gets out. I mean, just even right now, I actually kind of paused it perfectly, not even on purpose. You can see both hands on her body up against her chest. You can't play defense like that. I don't care what random person in the comment section tries to convince you otherwise. That's not defense.
Naturally, the old guard and league apologists are quick to dismiss the criticism with tired cliches. They'll tell you this is just rookie treatment or a welcome to the pros moment. But what is happening to Caitlin Clark transcends that excuse. Every rookie in every sport faces a physical and mental adjustment, but they are not typically subjected to having the fundamental rulebook suspended exclusively for them. This isn't a rite of passage. It's a breakdown of order. This isn't about letting them play. It's about allowing one player to get relentlessly hammered in a way that not only impacts the game's fairness, but also poses a serious risk of injury. It's reckless and irresponsible. To pretend this is just how the WNBA tests its newcomers is to admit that the league standard for rookies is to endure uncalled fouls that would be whistled in any other context. It's an argument that collapses under the slightest scrutiny.
Caitlin Clark does not have a special whistle in the WNBA, unlike some other players. Asia Wilson. Every time you touch Asia Wilson, she's going through the free throw line. And the announcers definitely will say she's one player that gets a lot of fouls called on her, and she goes to that free throw line. Breanna Stewart, she gets a lot of foul called. You touch her, she gets.
So guys, today we got to talk about something, and Paige Beckers in an interview literally exposed just how bad the referee's problem is. Like, she just exposed how bad it was in a pre-game interview for the game. I couldn't find the audio part of it, but Ryan Ruocco literally said she had to forget. So basically, she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. So, you know, everything you learn about defense, how to play while not fouling, how to move your feet, how to do all this. She had to throw out all the good defensive fundamentals that she'd learned. And now she had to learn to go foul.
The frustration is magnified tenfold when you watch how the game is officiated for other players, especially established superstars. On any given night, you can see veterans like Asia Wilson or Breanna Stewart earn a trip to the free throw line if a defender so much as breathes on their shooting arm too heavily. They get the benefit of the doubt, the respected superstar whistle, where any significant contact is scrutinized and often penalized. Yet in the very same game, Clark can be shoved to the floor with a forearm to the chest or whacked across the arm on a drive, arrive, and the referees will just stand there, stone-faced, as if they're pondering the meaning of life. This glaring double standard is what makes the situation so infuriating. It proves this isn't about general incompetence, it's about selective enforcement. It suggests the officials know perfectly well what a foul is, but have made a conscious choice not to call them for Caitlin Clark. The hypocrisy is so blatant that it's impossible for any objective viewer to ignore.
I don't think her importance is overstated. I think she's a singular force like we've never seen before in the women's game, in particular in the women's college game. And we've had great players. We just haven't had this mix of a player who does something we've never seen before in the women's college game in terms of the logo threes. Every time the stakes raise and it feels like, oh, geez, there's got to be a lot of pressure on this kid, a lot of pressure, she meets the
This consistent and predictable pattern of non-calls has fueled a growing and explosive theory among fans and analysts, that the referees have been given a silent mandate from the WNBA itself. It sounds like a conspiracy, but after weeks of watching the same movie play out, it starts to feel like the only logical explanation. Why would the league do this? The potential motives are as cynical as they are disturbing. Perhaps it's a misguided effort to project an image of a tough physical league to new fans, a way to combat any old stereotypes of women's basketball being less intense. Or maybe it's a bizarre overcorrection attempt to avoid accusations of favoritism, where in trying not to give Clark special treatment, they've swung the pendulum to the extreme of punishing her. It's as if a memo went out titled, "Let her get rocked, it builds character." Whatever the internal logic might be, the outcome is a disaster. The league's most marketable asset in a generation is being officiated like an unwanted intruder, creating a chaotic, frustrating, and ultimately illegitimate product on the court.
This is the last thing I'm going to say about the Caitlin Clark WNBA drama, at least for this very moment, because the discourse has gotten absolutely insane. But there has been a lot of media and current athletes coming out and saying that the treatment that players like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, like other rookies are receiving is just how basketball is. It's happened to many WNBA players in the past, and this is just the way it is. And new fans coming to the game just need to deal with it. However, this is the way that the game has been, and the WNBA has never been as successful as it is.
Ryan and Rebecca going extended rip at the foul issues, absolutely unbelievable criticism. For Paige to say she had to relearn how to defend to be less careful about fouling. That's not basketball. Like, people literally say, oh, it's physical basketball. No, you're just going around hacking people. You're just going around hacking people. That's not foul. That's not defense. Going around hacking people. Genuinely. Going around hacking people is not defense. That's not defense. It's not.
But the single most damning piece of evidence, the comment that blew the entire controversy wide open, came from an unexpected source and wasn't even about Caitlin Clark directly. During a broadcast, Ryan Ruocco casually shared a jaw-dropping insight he had learned about another collegiate superstar, Paige Bueckers. He revealed that Bueckers had admitted she had to completely relearn how to play defense in college by essentially learning how to foul because she discovered that the officials simply wouldn't call it. This was the smoking gun. This single comment pulled back the curtain on the entire officiating crisis. It confirms that the problem is not isolated to one player or a few rogue referees. It is a deep, systemic issue, so well known within the sport that elite players are actively being coached to abandon fundamental defense in favor of what amounts to sanctioned cheating. It proves this isn't a Caitlin Clark problem. It's a WNBA and women's college basketball problem that Clark's immense spotlight is now exposing to the world. The WNBA is at a critical and dangerous crossroads. The Caitlin Clark effect has gifted the league a golden opportunity for exponential growth, but that gift is being squandered with every uncalled foul. With its credibility hanging by a thread, and with trusted, authoritative voices like Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco now publicly testifying to the injustice happening on the court, the league can no longer hide behind flimsy excuses or feigned ignorance. The problem is out in the open, televised in high definition for all to see. The WNBA must now make a choice. Will it step in to restore the integrity of the game and protect the safety of its players? Or will it continue to let its biggest star get treated like a crash test dummy for the sake of some flawed, unwritten agenda? The world is watching. The fans are losing patience. And the deafening silence of the whistles is threatening to drown out all the progress the league has made.